Well, the first day of week 4 has been wrapped. I'm here at the LCS with coverage presented by Omni Slash to interview Tyler, who is the coach for Golden Guardians. Is it just Tyler? I've heard there's like an Akari. What's this?
So my in-game name is Akiri,
Okay.
and it's just Tyler. Just
Okay.
Tyler.
It's just Tyler. Okay, we're just gonna go with Tyler. Okay, so you are the coach of Golden Guardians, a team which, as of right now, is 0-7 in the LCS. You have recently come into this role in the past week or so. What is all this like for you? Because it's got to be kind of a crazy situation.
Yeah, it's a combination of like surreal, overwhelming, exciting, and nerve-wracking. I would guess. Maybe not nerve-wracking, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
And what is your take on the Golden Guardian situation, and especially as somebody who's been with them since the start of the split?
So I would take it as this is a great opportunity for me to work on the problems that I think our team has and try and develop us even more from the weeks before.
What's holding back Golden Guardians from getting into the top 6, for instance?
So right now, I think what's holding us back is we need to be better teammates and we need to have better focus during practice. So that's been like kind of our goal for this past week and what we're going to do heading into next week as well.
And when you say better teammates, what do you mean by that?
So better teammates, I mean like I think overall we haven't developed as much as we maybe should have in terms of working together. So we're doing a lot more things outside of scrims or like bonding and stuff like that to make sure that our guys feel really comfortable when they talk to each other in game and really comfortable when they talk to each other outside of game so we can work on improving and not have to work on other things.
One of the things that is really interesting to me about the Golden Guardians situation is that it kind of reminds me a lot of like Team Liquid last year, where there are a lot of teams, I think, in the LCS every split, including this one, that aren't really talked about. You know, they kind of hang out near the bottom and just people just don't really care. Conversely, people seem to care a lot about Golden Guardians and what's going on. People are constantly talking about it. There are videos frequently going up on Reddit. We talk about it a lot on my show. And so it's kind of this interesting thing where you get a lot of criticism, but at the same time, the team is getting a lot of attention, probably a lot better than being less cared about. One of the things that is a byproduct of that is that a lot of people seem to have a lot of opinions on who should have your job right now. So I'd love to get your take on this. One, do you feel like you fit the head coach role that you've been thrust into? And two, what do you think of a lot of people sort of speculating or giving options on who else should have that role?
So in terms of me being a good fit for this role, I think I was an easy solution for what happened and how sudden it was. And by the end of this year, my goal was to look for potential opportunities as a head coach, whether that be staying with the Golden Guardians if, like, for whatever reason, like Loco's contract ended after a year or something, or maybe what that might entail. But in terms of like if I feel like I'm qualified for this job, I think I'm very qualified. I have a lot of experience working with coaches, learning under coaches, having mentors that are coaches. So I think it's just a matter of time before I had this role. And the fact that we are 0-7 doesn't really change that. I think it's a good opportunity for me. And I kind of forgot the second half of your question.
Yeah,
so.
the second question. No, it's fine. It's fine. Sorry, that's myself doing a shit job of building the question. But the second part of it was, yeah, people people looking for your job. So Valkyr Post is something I haven't seen it yet because I was at the LCS, but the comments seem to think that he's like, it's like an elaborate, it's like an application for the job. Other people have said like Saint said like, oh, I offered to help out, and everybody. Monty tweeted something like, Golden Guardians, you need to hire Cop and Saint to help out with your team. So what do you think of sort of all this conversation the past week about who should come in and save Golden Guardians and have your role right now and all that stuff? Yeah.
So obviously I appreciate everyone's concern with our team. I think it's nice that a lot of people have things that they want to help us with, whether that's like things that they think we're doing wrong or things that we're not already going over. It's kind of interesting to me. I've been like kind of in a bubble and not really looking at a lot of that stuff because I'm just so busy already. It's not even like I wouldn't do it anyways. It's just like I just haven't really done it, which is kind of weird. But in terms of like the criticism of like if I'm doing my job poorly or if someone else should have it. I'm always open for criticism, so I think it's nice to see people like for example, Cup did reach out to me and was like, hey, like if you need any help, like I'm here for you. I think this is a big task for you, and maybe I can help. And I was like, oh, I really appreciate that. I don't know if like that's a possibility right now, but like who knows? But I think it's the intention is what I look behind it, and not necessarily like the reason. So if their intention is like, hey, I think like you could use some help, then that's great. If their intention is like you suck, then I'm not going to take in their criticism, you know.
What do you think Golden Guardians' chances are for this split for the rest of it?
I think we have a great chance to upset a lot of teams, and we have a great chance at looking towards the lower end of playoffs, maybe sneaking in, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah. And you know, one thing, sorry, it's the end of the day. One thing I should have asked earlier in the interview is, can you give me a little bit of the background on you as a person, just for the people, because I actually know a decent amount now from talking to Hunter and Spelsy, who helps run this, and as well as some of the other folks about your background. Even Acadian before this was mentioning your time on the Challenger scene. But for those that don't know, what is your situation?
So before Golden Guardians, I was assistant coach for Phoenix One last split. And then before that, I worked with Immortals as an analyst, and I worked with not Immortals, I just said that. I worked with Fnatic as an analyst for Worlds too. So I've worked with a lot of teams. I did a lot of amateur scene work as well. So I coached like Team Sky and a couple of other teams like that. So it's just a matter of, yeah, I actually don't know how I was going to finish that sentence.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So yeah, you're still, I understand you, new role in the head coach situation, first interview.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, these things kind of go in different days. And I'm exhausted. I'm sure you are at the end of this day.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah. By the way, really quickly, do you think that you guys looked better in that game against Echo Fox? Because I'm certainly not an analyst, but it felt like you guys looked a little bit better.
Yeah, so I think last week it might have looked like we kind of rolled over and died for a couple of games.
Peter said playing against you guys, he's like they just did nothing. There was no tension or anything.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough game against TL. They also played really well, to be fair as well. They shouldn't get credit taken away from them. But I think we looked pretty good today. We looked like Echo Fox. We could scare Echo Fox, which was good. Yeah.
Very good. Anything that you would say to any of the Golden Guardians people? The people are like, who is this guy? Get rid of him. Bring in Cop.
Bring in Cop and bring in Valkyr. I just want to say that I appreciate all of your criticism and your help for our org. I think it's going to be a journey, and I'm happy that you guys are still along for the journey, even if it's a rough one. So thanks.
Very good. Thank you so much for the interview, Tyler, and best of luck. Looking forward to seeing you guys face off tomorrow against
100 Thieves.
100 Thieves. There we go. You know, I don't know if you know this, but Spelsy lives with me right now. Gabriel, who's the head of video production for 100 Thieves, lives with me right now. So tomorrow's a roommate face-off. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen.
Yeah. So actually, my old performance coach on P1 works for 100 Thieves now too, and I almost accepted a job with 100 Thieves. So it's going to be quite the battle.
Everyone thinks it's about Biofrost versus TSM tomorrow. No, the real battle is actually my roommate, your old performance, all that stuff. Anyway, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Wait, you haven't subscribed yet? Well, you should, because there's more LCS interviews brought to you by OmniSlash right here.